This is an introductory video for learning how to use MATLAB. If you run MATLAB, you will come to a screen that looks something like you see on the video here. And if you get to this screen, you will see that we have the command window here. And it has a prompt that if you click in that window, you can enter commands. For instance, you can define some variables such as x equals 5, y equals 6, and you can also add those two variables together and it will print out the variable answer, which is 11. You can also enter matrices, which is one of the strong points of MATLAB, and that is that MATLAB actually stands for Matrix Laboratory. And so, for example, we could put in the matrix A and use square brackets to begin the matrix, and we're going to type in a 3x3 matrix. And so for the first row we can put in the numbers separated by spaces and a semicolon at the end of each row, and so we can put in numbers and define our matrix. And if we hit enter, it shows us our 3x3 matrix A that we have defined. We can also create a vector B, and this can be a column vector if we put one number in each row. And so now we have defined the vector B. Now, of course, we forgot to enter the equal sign, so we can press the up arrow and we can get the last thing that we entered and add the equal sign in there to correct that mistake, and then press end to get to the end of the line and hit enter, and now B is defined properly. We can also do matrix algebra operations. For instance, we could have A times B. We could also do the inverse by using the INV command. The inverse of A times B, and get the answer for that. Now, basically, you're seeing that MATLAB is like a calculator, and that's very interesting, but it would be a lot better if we could do this and save these commands inside of a file. In MATLAB, such files are called scripts. They are files that contain a collection of commands that you want MATLAB to execute for you. So if we go to the top of the screen at the left, we can click on New Script. We can put in the name of the script with a percent symbol first, because right here we're just going to comment the name here and say that our script is going to be called test.m. And then we can put in some other comments such as input variables here, and we can put in x equals 5 with a semicolon, and the semicolon makes it so that the x variable is not printed to screen, because often there's lots of formulas and you don't want all of them being printed to screen, and so a semicolon at the end of the line prevents that. Y equals 6, and of course we can also put in A and B. Now, of course, we typed those in before, so we can just copy and paste those into our script file, and we can add a comment for that to define the matrices that we're working with, and put a semicolon at the end of the line to prevent it from printing to screen if we don't want that to happen. And we can also grab a copy of the vector B, and then we can do the calculations that we were interested in before. X plus y, A times B, and even the inverse of A. times b. And now that we have all of that, we can save it, and we can name it according to what we had chosen, which is test, and it will save that. And we see that it shows up over here on the left-hand side in the current folder that we're working in. In my case, I'm using C:\research MATLAB files video lessons, and that's where the current session that I'm working on will save the script files that I make. And so now that I have that script, I can click run up above, and you can see it ran and spit out the answers below: x plus y, a times b, and the inverse of a times b. We could also simply type in test, which is the name of the script file, and it will execute that file, running all the commands contained in it. And again, it runs, and you can see these numbers were just simply printed out again, just like they were up above. And so that's a basic introduction to some of the functionality of MATLAB.